Parents of a murdered pregnant mom, Shanann Watts, have filed a wrongful death lawsuit against her husband, Chris Watts, who admitted killing her.
Hey, Bella, how many babies do I have in my belly?
5.
Whoa.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Those girls, they had the laughs of angels and the souls of angels.
Well, the lawsuit was filed on the same day Watts was sentenced to life in prison without parole for killing Shanann, their unborn son, Nico, and their 2 daughters, Bella and Celeste. The attorney for Frank and Sandra Rusick says the lawsuit is meant to keep Chris Watts from ever profiting off the murders if he ever should sell his story, write a book. To talk about their chances and about this case, help clarify things, we bring in our HLN legal analyst, great criminal defense attorney Joey Jackson, also with us defense attorney Vinoo Varghese. Vinoo, let's talk about this. Is this a slam dunk here to make sure he never makes a dime off what he did?
I think it's more symbolic than anything else. The reality is that Colorado already has a Son of Sam law in place to prevent people from profiting, inmates, prisoners from profiting off their crimes. And recently, as 2015, there was a serial killer, James Holmes, whose identification number was not allowed out. And the reason for that was so that if he sent a letter out, he didn't want anyone profiting. The Colorado Department of Corrections did not want anything profiting from that letter being sent out. So it's highly unlikely that Watts is going to get mail or anything else or have an opportunity to profit off of any murderabilia.
Got it. Joey, you see this as a difficult case? I know the family wants a jury to decide things. What are your thoughts?
You know, Mike, good to see you. I don't see it as a difficult case, and here's why. What happens in these wrongful death cases are as follows. First, you have to establish liability. That is, was the person who's being sued responsible for the crime in question or the wrongful death in question? Here, it's a slam dunk in as much as it's been proven beyond a reasonable doubt that he did it. Now, there was no trial, but remember that a plea of guilty is just the same as if you were found guilty by a jury. So you have liability, then the question becomes damages. And I see it, although, you know, properly stated, indeed, it is symbolic. It's much more than that, in my view. Oftentimes, these Son of Sam laws have been challenged on First Amendment grounds. They go through multiple appellate processes. Some jurisdictions have had to revise their laws as a result of that, and they take long time to do. So strategically, it eliminates that issue. And then the other issue, should he decide to profit, is that there are practical things which he may be owed. For example, the home. To what extent should he share in the profit of that after he killed his wife and children? In addition, do they have other things that they hold jointly at all in the event that they do, whether they be bank accounts, life insurance policies, whatever it is? He shouldn't be entitled to any of it at all. And so in that regard, from a damage perspective, in English, money, he shouldn't be entitled to get anything. And so I think this lawsuit, brilliant strategic move by the family, puts him out, and indeed what it does is it settles the fact that what he did is heinous, it's horrific, it's disgusting, and he needs to be held accountable both criminally, which he has, and civilly, which he will be.
Got it. Hey, Vinoo, the family's attorney, here's the quote saying, he's not O.J. Simpson. We're not going to collect millions. But so what does the jury decide here? What kind of damages and award could the family get?
I think it'll be a long time before it gets to the jury from Watts' perspective. You know, the question is, he's going to be able to afford somebody to represent him. Somebody may take the case on pro bono just for the publicity. But I think it's going to be a long time before it gets here. But look, I want to get back to something Joey just said about making it clear. I think with this guilty plea, it made it clear. There's no question that this is heinous. There's no issue as to liability. The issue really is things like life insurance, things like that. He's not going to be able to get. So if there was a life insurance policy on her house, there's an exception. You kill somebody and you're the beneficiary, you're not going to get it. But other things that are his, he is going to get it. That's not profit. That's what's owed to him. The state actually can't go and take away his share of the home. What the law is, what this is designed to do, or I should have said, the Son of Sam law is designed to prevent are from profiting. And, you know, Colorado's statute has been upheld. There haven't been any checks. And as I mentioned, the case with that serial killer, that was ultimately upheld, and AP could not get the information that it sought.
Joey, so again, real quick, the family wants money to cover funeral expenses, Shanann's lost income, to compensate for permanent and continuing emotional damage. Do they ever see a dime?
I think they do. I mean, you know, obviously he's judgment-proof. He's in jail. He doesn't have the ability to earn anything. But let's just make something very clear. Even if something is legally entitled to be his, what happens is that in these cases, should you lose, you get a judgment. And what a judgment means is that you get a judgment for X amount of dollars, whatever the jury determines, and whatever assets you have, if they have to be liquidated or sold or what have you, sell them so that you can pay me. So I think this is a measure designed to, certainly it's never going to make them whole at all, but to provide for some reasonable, what we call in law, restitution, that is payback for what he did. And so I think it was a good move by the family. Can't imagine to think about what they're going through now, but at the end of the day, I don't even know what you call justice in this case, but it's another measure of justice as they received, of course, in the criminal proceeding.
Okay. Guys, thanks again. Joey, Vinoo. Appreciate it. Thank you.